It's been a while since my last Hulk Lost Media video, so here's a revised version with some more information and new entries. At the time of writing this, nothing from the video has been found. I've searched for the topic of Hulk Lost Media elsewhere, and hardly anyone has mentioned the various topics I discussed. Although I shouldn't be surprised, considering that many of these are from my own sleuthing and memory. Add to the fact that most of these have no entry in the Lost Media Wiki, and it's easy to see why it would all go unnoticed. But I hope this catches the eye of more people and leads to more discoveries down the line. A few of these entries may not technically be lost media, depending on who you ask. Some of them may be better fit with the term obscure media, as they're not totally lost, just really hard to find. The Marvel Superheroes was an animated series originally broadcast in 1966 of 3 7-minute segments that followed Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, and Namor. When the series began airing on WNAC-TV in Boston, Massachusetts, live-action segments were spliced between the episodes. The live-action characters were Captain America, Bucky, Dr. Doom, and Hulk. This would mark the first live-action appearances of those characters, minus Captain America. I'm curious to know how Hulk was portrayed in those segments, given it was 11 years before the TV series came along. All that's available from these shorts is a brief clip of Arthur Pierce as Captain America. Speaking of the Hulk TV series, the production experienced a bit of a hiccup when it came to casting the titular character. Showrunner Kenneth Johnson wanted actor Richard Kiel to portray the creature. At a height of 7'2", Kiel seemed like a no-brainer choice to helm the role of the Hulk. But there was an issue. While he had the height, he didn't have the muscle mass needed to sell the image of a gargantuan brute. Soon, Lou Ferrigno came along and took the role. However, that's not where the story ends. Footage of Richard Kiel as the Hulk in the original pilot does exist. We see a quick shot of him during the scene where Hulk saves a little girl from drowning. It's brief, but it goes to show that it's out there. It's unknown where the footage has ended up. While the show aired on CBS, Universal produced and owned the show, so if there's a place where the footage could be locked up, it'd have to be Universal's archives. In 1979, TV Hulk made a guest appearance in episode 5 of Billy, titled Fathers and Sons. It's a short moment from a short series, lasting 1 season with 7 episodes, most of which are lost, including Hulk's episode. All that's left from it is a bit of footage from a CBS promo and a press photo. Another of TV Hulk's fun crossovers comes to us in the form of a live show known as Castle Dracula, originally running at Universal Studios Hollywood from 1980 to 1983. While to some this may not count as lost media, since it is a live show that was made without the intention of being filmed and preserved. There's just not a lot from this one. Few photos are out there, with some footage in promotional reels and home movies, but they're very limited showcases. A lot of these don't even include the Hulk section of the show. Only a few seconds of home footage give us a glimpse at Hulk's confrontation with Dracula. WDBJ-TV had a promo of the Hulk, played by a man named Lauren Sink, that announced the station's airing of the Hulk TV series. It's not entirely lost, as Lauren himself uploaded some footage on YouTube, but it's not a proper digital transfer, as it's a recording of a TV, and it's not complete. Before her debut on Disney+, She-Hulk was set to make her TV appearance in 1991, starring actress Mitzi Kapture as Jennifer Walters and volleyball player Gabriella Reese as She-Hulk. What makes this project special is that David Banner would have returned, along with Hulk, with Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno reprising their respective roles. This interpretation of She-Hulk was different from the source material, as she would be called Jessica Walters, have no relation to Banner, would be completely mute when hulked out, and would have had golden skin with red hair. The pilot began filming in the Virgin Islands, but the studio, New World Pictures, kept going back and forth on whether Kapture was a big enough name to star in the series. Eventually, they decided she wasn't, and pulled the plug on the project. As to whether the footage was ever archived is unclear, but I hope it's out there somewhere, so we can all have a look back at Bill Bixby's final performance as Banner. T-Mobile, an Italian telecommunications company, had a 2004 commercial featuring TV Hulk with Lou Ferrigno reprising the role. You can find the full commercial online, but there's another version with alternate footage. A rough mashup of the 2 commercials is on YouTube, giving an idea as to what the complete version would look like. Hulkhound and Teen Hulk were proposed animated shows that never took off. These 2 pieces of art are the only things we have from them without any sort of synopsis, script, or more concept art, if it even exists. An unproduced animated series about Bruce Banner's son was in development in 2003. However, no further information about it could be found beyond what I stumbled across on the fan site HulkMovie.com and PopGeeks. This concept art is our only look at what could have been. In a press release, there is a mention of not only this animated show, but also a live-action series. There is absolutely nothing I can find of an unproduced live-action Hulk show during 2003 or 2004. In 2010, the Nicktoons Network hosted a 2-hour marathon dedicated to the Hulk, titled Hulkathon. Hulk-related episodes of Fantastic Four, World's Greatest Heroes, Iron Man Armored Adventures, and Wolverine the X-Men were aired. Not much can be found of the marathon aside from old forum posts and a brief rundown on the Nicktoons website through the Wayback Machine. There was also a promo for the marathon that I remember seeing at the time, and I've occasionally searched for it through the years, but as you can expect, it's lost. Brief interruption here, but as I was looking for some more information about the Hulkathon, I stumbled across a recent upload of the promo, or one of the promos, from a YouTuber called Nifty975's Archival and Recreational Zone. So something from this was found, funnily enough. Hulk Gamma Corps was an unproduced animated series that would have served as a continuation of the Incredible Hulk film. However, it was later reworked into Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, as a producer revealed that the creative work would be much better suited for a project dedicated to more than one character. It's unknown how much of Gamma Corps progressed before the shift, and if any concept art exists. In 2003, The Simpsons had a promo spoofing the Hulk trailers while promoting a rerun of the episode I Am Furious Yellow, where Homer is made up as the Hulk. A snippet of the promo is online, but is incomplete, with damaged visuals and no audio aside from the last second. Hulk almost had his first theatrical film in the late 1990s, with Jonathan Hensley in the director's chair and special effects wizard Steve Johnson in charge of the awesome animatronics, but with an inflated budget, the film was scrapped. There are plenty of photos of the project online, but very little footage. Steve Johnson's company, Eon Entertainment, had intended to release a DVD of all the behind-the-scenes footage from his team's work on the film, but it appears the plan never went through, likely because of legal issues. During production of Ang Lee's Hulk, a press conference was held in San Francisco. Snippets were shown during a Take TV segment with the remaining footage on the film's website, but as Adobe Flash isn't available anymore, the clips can't be accessed on the film's archive website. E! News aired a behind-the-scenes segment of ILM's work on the film that can't be found anywhere online besides a handful of screen caps. Another special TV broadcast was MTV's Hulk special, featuring interviews from the film's cast, comic creators, and other notable personnel. This special is partially found thanks to a portion of it being uploaded online, however, a big chunk is still missing. An exclusive video of Hulk's UK NCH charity premiere can be found on the cinema website, but its URL is dead, along with other videos of cast and filmmaker interviews. Using the Wayback Machine serves no help, so these must have not been archived from the start, or they ran on Adobe Flash. A deleted scene of Betty appearing in Bruce's dream sequence from the 2003 movie exists, but it was never featured in the film's home media releases. A snippet of behind-the-scenes footage from the scene appears in the making of documentary and this trading card. The Ultimate Avengers movie from 2006 was almost completely different, as it would have borrowed heavily from its source material in tone and story. The only glimpses of this early rendition are seen in the film's teaser trailer and a few snippets in this Marvel corporate video from 2005. It's not specifically Hulk related, but still worth finding. The Incredible Hulk from 2008 featured a rendition of the Lonely Man theme exclusively in its trailers and websites. The Attitudes website identifies it as a track from Music Junkies, but even with this information, the track has not been found in its entirety. .35mm prints of both Hulk films are out there, but there's never been a complete scan of either of them. I know, it may not be legal to have those 35mm prints of film casually up here, but pretend you can find them through other means. I just think it'd be great to have those two on 35mm film floating around online. The Incredible Hulk from 1983 is a video game for the Atari 2600 that was intended to be released by the fall of the same year. Unfortunately, the game got caught up in the mess that was the video game crash. Thus, it never saw the light of day, and still has yet to be found, aside from promotional images and cover art. Fury of the Hulk was a mobile game tied to the release of the Ang Lee film. There is little to no information about this game, except for an IGN review. A user on the Lost Media subreddit found some information about the game, but it's still not much at all, and since the post didn't garner enough attention, it seems the search for this is non-existent. Hasbro's Monkey Bar TV website was home to a slew of Flash games, commercials, episodes, and anything that could entertain its targeted demographic. A few games featured were tied into their Hulk toys from 2008. Unfortunately, it's highly unlikely we'll ever find anything from this site, as nothing was properly archived, unless the games were featured on other sites. An early build of the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction was revealed to be in the possession of a collector on Reddit. It's titled The Incredible Hulk Critical Mass, which was the game's working title, and is tagged Milestone 19, a checkpoint in the game's development. Unfortunately, many users on the game collecting subreddit didn't give it much thought and were calling it a bootleg, alienating the original poster, who didn't give much more information about the build. Hulk was originally intended to be a playable character in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. However, licensing issues got in the way, and all we got were brief appearances. A year after the game's release, Hulk will be featured in the Gold Edition, exclusively for the Xbox 360. Data miners discovered he would have had special dialogue with characters like Thing, Spider-Woman, and Doctor Doom, but these were absent in the DLC and physical release of the Gold Edition. It's speculated that the pack was simply rushed, which also explains why Hulk's simulator mission was also missing. Although, unlike the previous voice clips, Banner and Hulk simulator dialogue has been found. This all comes from a couple of wiki pages, so I can't be sure of the validity of it. Mountain Dew featured a behind-the-scenes video of its Hulk commercial on the Mountain Dew website, but as you can expect, it can't be accessed. Even when Adobe Flash was around, I don't think we would have been able to see it anyway, as the website was never properly archived. This screenshot of the website is our only proof of the video's existence, and I honestly doubt we'll ever find it, unless someone has the video saved on an old hard drive. Sunny D partnered with the Hulk film in 2003 for a big Hulkin giveaway, including prizes such as DVDs, video games, and a trip to Marvel's headquarters to appear in a Hulk comic book. Whatever came of this giveaway is unknown, and I can't find anything on a Hulk comic sponsored by Sunny D or featuring a lucky fan from around that time. Marvel Superheroes Adventure City from Niagara Falls, Canada, originally had a Hulk attraction called the Incredible Hulk Encounter that placed participants in the middle of a frightening battle between the army and the Hulk. As guests made their way through the corridors, they were cautiously on edge, being sure not to run into the big guy himself. The attraction was later remodeled into the Incredible Hulk Mini-Golf. There is not a lot to be found of the original attraction or why it was changed, but judging by how this was a haunted house-esque attraction, it was either a bit too intense for children or difficult to operate. The Incredible Hulk coaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure originally featured a short animation for parkgoers to enjoy during queue. It provided a backstory for the ride's existence, explaining the coaster as a machine Banner creates in an attempt to rid himself of the Hulk. Recorded footage of the animation can be found online, but the video quality isn't too great. The animation has yet to be seen since Universal updated the ride in 2015, although I hold out hope it will be discovered someday. The same can be said for the animation used in Marvel Mania, a restaurant from Universal Studios Hollywood. A Spider-Man animation from Marvel Mania has been uploaded online, so there's always a chance. Hulk the Manga is a Japanese reimagining of the character featured in Weekly Bakuro magazine from 1970 to 1971. A few scans can be found online, but it's not much, and the magazines themselves are difficult to come across and cost a pretty penny. It's not exactly lost, rather obscure, but so little is known about the series. The stories have never been reproduced in Japan or brought over to the US. It's debatable if toys are a form of media, and even if those in the lost media community do consider it, there isn't a huge uproar to search for something so physical. It's not as easy as sharing a video or image, but I believe toys should be archived the same way. If not physically, then at least data-wise, especially when it comes to unreleased toys like this. Mego's 1980 catalog pitched a deluxe Hulk figure known as the Growling Hulk that was said to make growling sounds by raising its arms and pressing a button on the back of its neck. Reasons for this toy's cancellation come from the fact that other toy companies at the time already had large electronic Hulk figures. I guess Mego just thought it'd be redundant. When the Hulk animated series was airing, Burger King planned to release tie-in toys inspired by the show. Various pieces of concept art were floating around online, mainly from eBay listings. It's real difficult to find any other information about the promotion and the reason behind its cancellation. This Hulk figure from Toy Biz was originally intended for the 2003 film. It's a rubber toy with bendy wire inside, but it never passed the prototype stage, as it seemed Toy Biz had difficulty figuring out the wire problem within its feet. Addressing the elephant in the room, yeah, it looks like he has a vagina. This figure originally had cloth pants that unfortunately were too tight around the crotch, leading to what you see now. You won't be able to find much about this toy anywhere, and the reason why I know as much as I do is that many years ago, a YouTuber owned this prototype and did a complete showcase. Wherever that video is, it's lost, along with the person's entire channel, so that's really disappointing. I believe the owner sold the prototype shortly thereafter, as seen in this Workpoint listing, so it is out there and in someone's hands. Another unreleased Toy Biz Hulk is from this planned wave of figures based on Fantastic Four World's Greatest Heroes. Among the characters was Hulk, a 5-inch superposable figure that perfectly translated from the show. You can find various images of it from 2006's Toy Fair, along with the promotional image, but as to where the figure is today is a mystery. And that is all I have for now. This may be the last Hulk Lost Media video I do, in terms of the usual topics I've already discussed, but if there's any updates, I'll talk about them.